Prophecies, what we have been told. Continued. Mexico. It happened before. 65 million BC. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs dominated the Earth's biosphere. Evidence has been accumulating that indicates their sudden extinction was caused by a large meteor striking the Earth. Mammals existed, but only as small critters barely able to avoid the ravenous appetites of the reptilian world. Suddenly, the world shook, tidal waves swept across the lands, fires ignited, and the sky grew dark. The dust kicked up a meteor impact of phenomenal proportions, began to cloud the skies. Smoke and ash from the ensuing fires and volcanic eruptions added to a blanket of dust clouds that became so thick it blocked the sun's light for months. The day gave way to darkness. Plants, the source of food for herbivores, began to die out from the lack of sunlight that they needed to survive. As the plants died, the herbivores died, followed by the carnivores, omnivores, and eventually the scavengers. The smaller animals, mammals included, were able to survive by eating the deposits of seeds and roots left by the dead and decaying plants. As the dust began to settle out of the blackened skies, the sun began once again to shine upon Earth. The water and sunlight stimulated life within seeds, spores, tubers, and buds, and they began to germinate and sprout. With the return of sunlight, plant life began to thrive, and with it, what remained of animal life regained its grip upon the land and within the sea. But the reign of the dinosaurs was over. A reign of dominance lasting over 200 million years was over in less than a blink of an eye. Why was a huge number of biological niches void of life? These niches proved to be the breeding grounds for the development of a new group of animals that would evolve to dominate the Earth. Mammals were about to reign supreme. Change lies at the heart of our universe, and we are a part of it. Will it happen again? It is not a case of will it, but rather when will it, or how we will handle it. History tells us how we will handle it unless we change. The Great Pyramid, 4500 BC. Whispers from the far past. It is estimated that the Great Pyramid was constructed approximately 6,500 years ago. What can be found within this pyramid is what may be of great significance. The behemoth stone structure of the Great Pyramid appears to have been constructed to withstand time itself. Within this amazing structure of stone lies a passageway leading upward to a large empty chamber. The passageway marks what some believe to be a walk through time. Interesting impressions are made along the path of this timeline. The parting of the Red Sea, the birth of Christ, World War I and II do not go unnoticed. The final culmination of this passage opens itself up to a large room with an empty sarcophagus. The coffin is empty, and it is theorized by some that the coffin represents choice. The choice to change is voluntarily or to be forced. The passageway is believed by some archaeologists to symbolize our passage through history, culminating in the king's chamber. The passage appears to clearly and accurately mark many important events in history. The final date of the entry into the king's chamber is the year 2000 AD. Up to this point, the initial timeline moved from 1 per inch to 1 month per inch within the king's chamber. However, time accelerates as the inch gives way to a day. The date represented by the solid block wall at the end of the king's chamber, September 2001 AD. Humans have tinkered with the calendar many times throughout history. The accuracy of our present calendar is debatable. One thing we do know for certain is that it is not an accurate depiction of time when cross-referenced as far back as the building of the Great Pyramid. The date of September 2001 AD is believed to be as accurate as a decade and as inaccurate as many decades. We also know trauma can happen, as the events in Mexico indicated. Many believe that the large king's chamber at the end of the passageway represents a window of opportunity for our species to change or be forced to change. This small group of archaeologists believe we must either reach a new stage of consciousness or else face global trauma, the likes of which the Earth has not seen for over 65 million years. The Mayan calendar, 3000 BC, the keepers of time. You might also recall the recent (2012) prophecy. The Mayan calendar is one of the most complex calendars in the world. It presents a cycle of 5,125.40 years will come to an end by December 21st, 2012 AD. Once again, synchronizing dates becomes a problem. Our present Gregorian calendar has been modified for convenience rather than scientific accuracy. As such, the date established regarding the end of this Mayan age is a date generally agreed upon by scholars. This date represents the culmination of the present 5,125-year cycle. To the Mayans, the calendar represents their understanding of order and chaos within the universe. Their prophecies oriented around 5 ages of equal length. Since each age ended in a cataclysm, the accuracy of their calendar was crucial in order to warn people of coming events. Each age ended abruptly. But just as each age culminated with a global cataclysm, each ending initiated a new beginning. Global trauma generated by a meteor is not the only catastrophe we could face. pole shifts, ozone depletion, global warming, global cooling, and I would add to this nuclear catastrophe, are just a few other examples, but the event can be far less traumatic than the repercussions. The only way we can reduce human-generated trauma after the occurrence of a natural cataclysm, or an unnatural cataclysm, is to begin looking at ourselves differently, gaining a new perspective regarding who and what we are. We may well face a major global trauma of our own making. Following a naturally occurring cataclysm unless we change. We can be a ruthless creature when we feel we need to be, and shortages of food, water, and shelter in the past have taken their toll. The Mayan calendar is the most accurate calendar on Earth. Its prophecy of an end to an age encompassing over 5 millenniums happening at the same approximate time as the ending of the Great Pyramid timeline seems more than coincidental. These two cultures are vastly separated. The Great Pyramid were in Egypt, and the Mayans in Central America. An ocean of water separated the two, as well as over 1,000 years of time, but both offer a ray of hope through the concept of change. Prophecy Rock, 2000 BC. Keepers of the Message. The time has come, 2 brothers, one white and one red, each took a stone with the sign of a circle. The white brother left for another land to learn to create and invent. The red brother stayed behind to develop his spiritual powers. They were to meet once again and combine their specialties to build a paradise. The sign of a peaceful union would be each meeting once again, carrying the sign of the circle. But if the white brother should return with the sign of a circle replaced by a cross, the red brother would know the white brother had succumbed to materialism and forgotten the ways of brotherhood, and conflict would ensue. The Europeans brought with them the symbol of the cross as they stepped upon the shores of North America in the late 1400s. Their first actions involved piercing the ground with the cross and claiming the land for God and King. The union was not to be. The white brother had embraced materialism over brotherhood, and so the warnings of the Hopi legends were about to become truth. The prophecies of the Hopi would remain secretly guarded until the 1900s. Then the prophecy legends of the lost white brother, the metal roads for iron horses, trains, cobwebs filling the sky, telephone lines, and men leaving their footprints upon the moon would be told. The final prophesied danger sign, men building great houses in the sky. The last danger sign before what? The Hopi elders say they have preserved the message from generation to generation, that we must seek to change inwardly if we are to avoid a great cataclysm. The Hopi prophecy rock indicates we have one last opportunity to choose between materialism or living in peace and harmony with nature and humanity. Materialism and global cataclysms or peace and harmony are the two choices. The Hopi prophecy rock indicates the road we have taken, materialism. But the drawing upon the rock offers hope. The drawing shows we are at a point in time where we have the ability to once again choose between the two. If we continue with materialism, the prophecy predicts major trauma. If we choose harmony with nature and others, the prophecy predicts peace and bounty. Change is our choice.